Hi, I'm Joel Mabry. I'm the Deputy Chief of Mission at the U.S. Embassy in Port Moresby. Presidential elections. I get excited when I hear those words. They conjure up a time when I was a newspaper reporter covering elections. This was back in the 80s and 90s. Journalists have a front row seat when it comes to elections. A lot of people don't realize that. You get to interview the candidates, ask them all sorts of questions, including some that might lift their image, and others that might tarnish the candidate's image. Elections are a four-season affair. For journalists, they cover the primaries in the late winter and spring, and when the field of candidates is still broad. And at that time, of course, there's lots of intrigue and speculation about who among the maybe dozen or more candidates might be the eventual winner. Later, in the middle of summer, you're there as a journalist at the national conventions, the Republican and the Democratic National Convention. I still recall, when I was a journalist, the euphoria surrounding the Democratic National Convention held in San Francisco in 1984. All the major Democratic Party poobahs, the major personalities of the party were there. The Reverend Jesse Jackson delivered one of the most stirring speeches ever made at a convention. Then in the middle of autumn, there was election night. I loved the suspense as the night wore on and we waited for the election officers to release the early results, which often, but not always, gave a pretty accurate idea of who was going to win. While some of us were glued to the computer screen watching election results, other journalists were making the rounds of the party's campaign offices. The best place to be was at the headquarters of the winning candidate, of course. Everyone was in a good mood, the quotes were easy to obtain, and the champagne was flowing. The worst place to be was at the losing candidate's headquarters. There, the mood was glum. Quotes were short and sour, and the champagne, well, stayed in the bottle. Finally, in the dead of winter, journalists get to cover the presidential inauguration and the transition of administration. Through it all, journalists are serving the community by giving citizens the information they need to participate in civic affairs. Political journalists serve as watchdogs to assure honest governance in campaigns and seek to focus their coverage on issues of importance and not just daily spin. My hope is that the journalists in Papua New Guinea will carry out their responsibilities as well in 2017. And I hope the good citizens of Papua New Guinea will respect the unique role that journalists play in our societies and when needed, demand that the press do its job, a better job. Thank you.